Hi there, welcome back here guys. In the last lecture we have made changes in our Fetch API, we have moved it into its separate file and also we checked for the errors. In this lecture we'll be creating schema file for all of the Shopify types and also we'll be providing some types to our Fetch API so we know what data we are fetching and what data we are expecting to get from our Fetch API. Okay, so first we'll introduce these typings. Let's open here files and folders and we'll create here a new file. Actually, I'll close all of these files here for now. And we will go to our framework Shopify, and I guess I will just make it this file in our Shopify folder, straight in the Shopify folder. Let's create here a new file. So right click here on the Shopify, new file, and let's call it schema.d.ts. Okay, that will be typing files, types declaration. So we'll call it schema.d.ts. Okay, and here I will provide all of the types. How we can get all of the types? You can just simply copy paste them from my GitHub repository. Link is included in the description of this video. Okay, so you can find there my GitHub repository, and here is the file you need to copy paste. It's super long file with all of the types that are defined in the Shopify, and also with the description all the fields. So it's very beneficial to maybe read it if you are interested to know some fields. The same file you can get also when you will download it from a Shopify. So similarly as I would do with my localhost 4000 GraphQL, I could go to the docs, actually not the docs, but to the schema, and from a schema I could download the entire schema here. Okay, so that's what you are getting here from this file here. I just want to be sure that everybody has the same file, so that's why we are downloading it from here. So please go ahead, you can download the entire file or just simply click here raw. You can see the entire file here, copy everything, so Control A to select everything, Control C, back here, and let's paste it. It's super large file. Okay, so now we have all of the types here. You can scroll through, but it's a lot of lines. Usually you are just looking for something you need. So for example, for a product, if you need type for a Shopify product, you will find it here. So if I will search here for a product, you can see here, I can find here all the fields of the product, handle, ID, images, media, and so on, meta fields, and all of these fields are here. All right, so if you are wondering what is a scalar, scalar is just a wrapper for this primitive type. So when accessing the scalar string, you can see I'm accessing this, so I'm basically accessing the string, so handle is string, okay? And I'm accessing ID, scalar ID, I'm basically again accessing the string, and it's just an alias basically. So you can see ID is a string and so on, because you don't have many other types in the primitive types in the JavaScript. You have just strings, booleans, numbers, and so on. It's just a nice wrapper, so we have a better idea what we are getting here. Instead of writing that the ID is a string, it's nicer to write a scalar as of IDs, okay? Okay, now let's save this file, schema file. We can close it. We don't need it any longer. If we need something, we just can search it here. All right, let's close it. And now we can go to our Fetch API. So in our utils folder, Fetch API, it'll be providing here what the data we will be getting back. So the first thing we would like to get here a generic type. So Fetch API should work with a generic type. So after the async, I can specify this will work with the generic types T. This will be basically a return of our Fetch API. So I'll specify here this pointy brackets, and I will specify here type T. Okay, now I will get here new type next to the fetch params. I will specify type of the fetcher result. So type fetcher result, or fetch result, fetcher results. I can call it a singular fetcher result. And here again, I'll be expecting type T. All right. And I will be returning from here. What I'm returning from a fetcher, we are returning here data. Okay. So I'll specify here data of type T. And also just to stay consistent here, I will call this fetcher params, and I will rename it here. Okay, so now when we have a fetcher results, we can return here, we can specify here what we are returning from this function. Okay, so I can specify here now after the function, I can specify here colon, and I will specify here type we are returning. So this will be promise. We are returning promise because this is an async function of the fetcher result of the type T, like this. Okay, and if I'm looking at this, we can maybe shortify this. We can move it on the multiple lines. So just click here in the front of the query. Okay, so query will go here, and we can add this here space. And also this can go separate line like this. Okay. Okay, perfect, like this. Okay, so we are specifying fetcher API, which is accepting to receive the query. Okay, query is a type. This object we are passing here is a fetcher param. Fetcher param specifying the query will be string, and the return here will be promise of the fetcher results, where the type will be dynamic. Whatever we'll specify from outside, we will return the promise of fetcher results, where fetcher results is a data of this type. So we will specify here type of the product. I will expect to receive here promise of the data. Basically, this is just a wrapper for this. Okay, so I can just, it's basically very nice wrapper by writing here this data of t. Okay, because we are returning here data, right? So that's the result that we are expecting to receive promise of data type t, which will be passing from outside, but I will get it as a fetcher results. Okay, guys, I hope it's clear enough. Now we need to pass this type from outside, so when we will be calling our fetch API. So let's do it right now. Let's go back to our file explorer, to our files, and let's see here the queries get all product, not queries, but let's go to our product of a get all products here. So when we are making the request, when we are calling the fetch API, and we need to specify here type, what will be returning from the fetch function. Okay. I'll do it like this. First, I will import this type. So let's import it from a schema we have just created. So let's import here. If you will look in the schema, you will have their product connection type. So let's get here product connection. All right, you can get it from a schema. So dot. All right, schema, you will get product connection. You can take a look here. When you will click command or control, you will hover over. You can see here product connection is basically what you are getting, edges and the page info. Okay, so on the edges, you have to remember array of the nodes, and a node here is your product. Okay, so basically, I specify here fetch API, pointy brackets, and here I can specify type of a product connection. But remember, we are getting our data formatted like this. You will see when you will go here, we are getting here products, and on the products we have the actual products. Okay, so you have here property of a product. So I will specify it like this: curly brackets, products, where the product is a type of the product connection. Okay, so product connection. Okay, you can still see here the error. We will fix it very shortly. And also I don't like this long line here, so I will create a wrapper type for it. So I'll write here type. I will call it return type, for example, and simply I will just separate this functionality from here. So this will be products of a product connection, and I will simply specify here fetch API return type. Now you can see here issue because we are specifying we will be getting this data here basically straight away. So what you need to do here, I need to destructurize this data from the structure we are getting back from a fetch API. So I can destructure data like this. And yeah, then I just return here data. Okay, and still we are still seeing here error. Let's see what's wrong here. All right, so yeah, now we will not be getting array. That's the problem. We will be not getting the array of the data, but rather object of the data. So this will not work. So I will specify here as simply any, and that's it. Okay, I'll be fixing it in the next lecture. We need to process this data, and we need to format it different way. But when you will take a look over your data, you can see your data is a return type. So on a data, when I will go here, data, I should have a products, data products, and a products is a product connection. Okay, product connection, and product connection you can see is the edges, page info, and so on. So actually, we can return from here data of a products. All right, guys, so that's basically it. Let's save it. Let's go back to browsers. Let's refresh, and you are now getting this page info. And here you should also see edges. We don't want to get data like this. We need to process them. We need to normalize this data. So we need to iterate through the edges, and we need to extract all the products in some normalized way. And this will be doing in the next lecture. So guys, just to recapitulate what we have done, we just specified a couple of types. We have specified that our fetch API is expecting as a return any generic type t, and we will return the promise of this generic type t under the object with the property data, plus the data will be this generic type we will be passing from outside. In this case, we are getting products of a product connection from a fetch API. So when I will hover over a data, I have here this product connection type. Now what we need to do, we need to normalize data. We need to normalize here normalize, and return new data. Okay, that should be it, and let's see you in the next lecture. Cheers.